Here's the story from the post-millennial. I can't believe it. FBI turned off cameras out of Mar-A-Lago raid, admits to adding cover sheets to documents before taking photographs for evidence. I need to take you back in time so you can understand what this is all about. From Business Insider, August 31st, 2022, a photo shared by the DOJ of materials recovered at Mar-A-Lago clearly shows documents labeled top secret with distinctive cover sheets that are hard to miss. Take a look at this this photo they got here. Let's maybe we can make this photo a little bit bigger. Look at that with the big red circles and the arrows pointing at top secret, top secret, top secret. What if I were to tell you that this was a fake photograph they staged? That not only there were a lot of complaints from the Trump camp that they pulled random documents from various boxes and laid them on the floor to make it look like there was a cluster of classified documents, but we are now learning, I should say we're confirming, the story broke actually last month, but we have hard confirmation as they have admitted in filings, yeah, those cover sheets that say top secret, those are fake. They brought those. And more to the point, apparently all the documents are quote unquote placeholders, meaning they went through a bunch of boxes of Trump's knickknacks, random newspaper clippings and random letters that he had collected while he was president. The real story seems to be, yes, it appears Trump did have, at least allegedly he had, classified documents. We'll see what the courts determine. But it's more so that there were a bunch of boxes of random garbage that Trump didn't really know about that they took with them when they left. And it seems like the FBI is trying to make it seem like Donald Trump intentionally took large clusters of top secret documents with these big, broad cover sheets. Why? Well, Joe Biden's not being criminally charged for the same thing. He had a bunch of classified documents at a bunch of his different locations, and they said, yeah, he's a forgetful old man. It seems that's the case with Donald Trump as well. He had personal keepsakes and letters and thank you notes and some random papers from his office that were classified. Seemed like he just forgot about it, like most people would. And they're framing it to make it seem like it was intentional. Julie Kelly with the report saying, holy ish. Special counsel Jack Smith just admitted the FBI added cover sheets to alleged classified documents found at Mar-A-Lago and took photos for evidence. This confirms my report from last month that the FBI doctored evidence to produce stunt photos for classified docs at Mar-A-Lago, stating, I love this, as part of the processing of seized documents marked classified, ERT photographed the documents, parentheses, with appropriate cover sheets added by FBI personnel next to the box in which they were located. The photographs attached as Exhibit 8 are examples. Not only that, it's been further reported that the documents that they put in the photo were, quote unquote, placeholders. And the argument I'm hearing from many liberals and Democrats is, well, they couldn't take pictures of the actual classified documents. I'm like, what, so the whole photo is just fake? They literally brought props, put them on the ground, took a picture of it, and claimed that's what Trump had?
Right. It's like over the LL Bean catalog, and they're like, it's a classified document. We can't right. photograph it. Right. I just always wonder what it'd be like to be the PR team at the FBI, and you get this report, and you're like, you guys did what? You mean we can't even prove that there were classified? It could literally be a random piece of paper. And they're like, yes, but it was good that we did this, right? The VR team is just sitting there like rubbing their head like how they are one of the least trusted institutions in America. And then they're like, don't worry, guys. We put a bunch of cover letters over a random pile of paper on the floor. Trust us. It was in good faith. We're definitely not trying to frame anyone.
The whole thing's a clown show anyways. Like, the only reason that they're doing this is because it's Trump. Clinton had plenty of classified documents. She had a whole server.
Obama killed a guy.
Obama killed a guy. An American without due process. Bush authorized the PRISM to spy on all Americans. Like, they're all criminals. The only reason this is happening is because his name's Donald Trump and because he's an outsider.
It is really fun when you think about it, though. It's like, so under George W. Bush, you get the expansion of the NSA and the mass surveillance program. And who was it who lied to? I'm always mixing them up. It was the former head of the NSA, I think, lied to Congress about their spying. Who was it? Was it Brennan?
He was CIA, but he's lied to Congress. I mean,
the better question is who hasn't lied to Congress.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
That's exactly the point. Like, the whole thing is only because Donald Trump. It's only and
no one's ever held accountable.
Of course, can you imagine like the federal prosecutors pretending to be serious, sitting in a room with like a bunch of personnel, and they're going through documents and like, let's see, George W. Bush, illegal mass surveillance, put that over here. Barack Obama killed a 16-year-old, and here we go. Oh my, Donald Trump, yes, he had classified documents. Oh, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to arrest him for that.
Pence. Obama had
Pence had him.
Obama has him.
Clinton
Biden had him.
Biden has him in multiple locations.
He had him sitting in behind his
who was the
Corvette.
Who was the guy that stuffed him in his underwear or socks at the National Archives and left with him? He was wasn't he? He was Clinton? He was with Clinton or Obama. Oh my gosh, what was
that was like
name?
the Clinton sock drawer story, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous, and no one's ever held accountable.
No,
Joe Biden had these boxes with the classified documents in his garage. Yep. Donald Trump had boxes with classified documents, allegedly. I mean, the Biden thing they admitted, in Mar-a-Lago. When the FBI raids Joe Biden, they take a picture of the Corvette in the boxes and say, yeah, it looks like that. With Donald Trump, they go through all the boxes, pull out the documents, stage photo documents on the ground with fake covers, and take a picture of it. This is twofold framing of Donald Trump. First, to make the public, actually it's threefold, to make the public think Trump had this thick stack of documents when it was more random stuff. The second is it's evidence they presented in court documents to the court. But the what was I going to say? I forgot what the third point I was going to make is. But there you go. Those are the two important points.
You referenced Sandy Berger, right?
Yes.
He's a former national security advisor.
Yeah.
I mean, I think ultimately, this is... It only serves to make the FBI look worse to people who already don't trust them, and it makes any sort of criticism of the FBI is going to play out to be like, these crazy whack jobs will do anything to defend Trump. It's going to push further divide and distrust in either your neighbors or the institutions.
But I think you have to look at why they're doing it, too. And it goes back to, I mean, allegedly they did it to get the Crossfire Hurricane documents that Trump had unsealed right when he left office. That is one of the things. But also, they're doing this because they know that they stole 2020. And they thought that Trump would be, for all intents and purposes, done after 2020, that everybody had turned on him, his own VP, and he would never mount a return. And he is. I mean, and so they're doing everything. Just think about this, you guys. 81 million votes, my ass. There is no way Joe Biden got 81 million votes. No way. And we all know it.
It depends on your definition of vote.
Well, yes.
You're saying there's no way singular human individuals said to themselves, Joe Biden's the guy for me, and then went and cast a ballot for him. And I completely agree.
Yes.
But I think Democrats used ballot harvesting.
Yes.
Voter in the park.
Yes.
I think most of these people who, quote unquote, voted didn't actually vote in the sense that we think.
Right.
So the game that's being played semantically is Democrats are like, of course Biden got these votes.
Right.
And what we're arguing is, no, you went to some old folks' home and had and filled it out for them and then claimed that was that person's vote or things like that.
Right. Exactly.
People who didn't know what was going on.
There's all kinds of, they didn't do it just one way. There were multiple ways that they stole 2020. But the point is, look at what they had to, look at what they did in 2016 they thought they had an insurance policy. He would never be elected. And then he got in there. They tried to destroy him, the impeachment, on and on and on. And so January 6th was a setup. I mean, it absolutely was a setup. We wanted Congress to have the joint session of Congress to lay out all the evidence. We were waiting on that. There's no way we were going to go and do anything at the Capitol to screw that up. But other people had reason to screw it up, right? Because they didn't want that evidence laid out. So they've gotten away with January 6th. Trump has mounted a comeback, and they don't know what to do. So they're using they've weaponized every agency against Trump, his supporters, and the lawfare is unlike anything we've seen. And the FBI is like the core of all of it that's going on. They are so deep in it.
It goes beyond the FBI because you had the people, you had the 51 members of the intel community that were signing off on a thing that said the Hunter Biden laptop.
We got an update on that one too.
Oh yeah, we do.
The CIA was colluding with Biden. Apparently, CIA contractors. The 2020 thing, when you bring up 2016, it actually made me smile a little bit. Because
those were the good old days.
Well, it's not just that. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of cathartic to hear about how the deep state has been failing at every turn, and they're just in total shambles. And I'm like, it kind of feels good. Like it's not like we don't have our challenges or anything.
Right.
But remember that email that got leaked that said Trump was a Pied Piper candidate?
Yep.
Right.
They thought that by pushing Trump, it would sink the Republicans, and they created a monster, or they've awoken the beast. And then they did everything they could to make sure he could not win. The way I describe it is, outside of all semantics, who won the argument in 2020? Donald Trump, no question.
Absolutely.
Who got a bunch of pieces of paper? Who got more pieces of paper with names on them? Democrats. But we know what they did. They called it a shadow campaign in Time magazine.
Yeah.
And then what happens is it goes to the courts. And what did the courts say? We are too scared to actually consider what this means.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court rejecting the lawsuit from Texas. That was it. They just said we reject our responsibility.
Right.
And
that was because of the previous year of riots. If the Supreme Court, if there wasn't the entire year of riots where literally Trump should have come out and put his foot down, like they should have had the feds come out and wrap all those people up. They were all paid. All of the rioters were paid and spurred on by political activists and stuff. Trump should have had the FBI wrap them all up, or the sheriff's department of the local areas, whatever, wrap them all up, because they are why the Supreme Court was afraid to take the case, because they were afraid of what would happen if they said, wait a minute, this is illegal. The Democrat apparatus, not the actual Democrat Party, but the apparatus, the activists that are currently still working the same methods that they'd been using for the past multiple years, they had set the environment so that way Trump was going to be the bad guy if he came down with the boot, and he was going to be it would be unacceptable for him to be the president if he didn't. They had the whole summer of 2020 and just ripped the country apart and made it so that the Supreme Court, they had people outside of the Supreme Court's houses, and they made it so that way the Supreme Court was too intimidated to do their job. This was absolutely political attacks.
It's not just the Supreme Court. One of the things we've learned through this is it's the state courts too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they are just as corrupt, will take no action. And quite honestly, some of the AGs in these Republican red states across the country that are absolutely doing nothing. My state AG has done nothing, but has sat back and watched Fani Willis go after, President Trump and 18 other co-conspirators, and it's all BS. I mean, quite frankly, if anybody should be charged with RICO, it is the left and what they've done with all this lawfare and everything else. I mean,
you're right, but we're so far beyond that. I mean, we're talking right now about the FBI staging evidence at Donald Trump's home. They were authorized to use lethal force. The media is covering that up, claiming Trump's lying. I love this. NBC, I think it was NBC. I don't know. There's a fact checker, and they're like, Trump falsely claimed that they were authorized to use lethal force. And then it's like, falsely claimed. The next paragraph is, but it was standard issue in any warrant that they're allowed to do it. And it's like, so Trump is telling the truth. They were authorized
I saw this
to use lethal force.
There was a commentator on TV that was like, yeah, he made this wild accusation that they were trying to attack him. But, it's just boilerplate language. They're just allowed to do this. Like, which one is it? Is it false, or are they just allowed to do whatever they want?
I'm going to take this opportunity to, I said this before, but, the left likes to run these clips of me out of context, as they do everybody.
Yep. Of
course. But there were numerous stories throughout 2019 and 2020 where the analytics were predicting a major Trump re-election victory.
Right.
Unemployment at its lowest point. Pre-COVID, it was huge. And Moody's analytics, based on the economy, was like Donald Trump will win again. There's also the meme of the 49-state landslide, which is just a reference to Reagan.
Right.
And so the leftists like to take all of that stuff out of context and just show clips of me saying, like, Trump's going to win, Trump's going to win. When, in fact, the caveats were, wow, if this happens, Trump's going to win. But I'm going to take full credit for everything I said. And I think that's important. Donald Trump got more votes than any sitting president. Donald Trump won Florida and Ohio, and I don't believe any modern president has ever won both states and then lost the election. Trump won, 90% of bellwether counties?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, and so these were all metrics by which any standard election was indicative of Donald Trump winning a tremendous victory. And then it was just very strange how everything happened, as everybody knows. I think they basically said in Time magazine how they did it, the shadow campaign, they called it. Ballot harvesting was the big key.
They told us everything in that article.
Yeah.
You know, exactly how they did it.
They had to brag about it. But so hopefully in Georgia and in these other states, you know, Donald Trump has talked about swamp the vote, that Republicans have to play the same game.
Yep.
And you're going to need Republicans on the ground, people like Scott Pressler going door to door, knocking on doors and saying, did you fill out your mail-in ballot yet? Because that's the game that's being played. 2020, Donald Trump won the argument, but the Democrats, I don't like the word outmaneuver, because it's more like, you know, is it cheating or is it not cheating? Well, there's this viral video I've mentioned several times of speed skaters. Have you guys seen this ice skating video where the Chinese team outlaps the whole pack?
Yeah.
And then they're behind. So one of the Chinese racers outlaps the whole group and then stays in the back. So the group doesn't realize that person's in first place.
Right.
Everybody says, oh, that's cheating. It's cheating. Other people said it's strategy. It's strategy. Depends on your perspective. Democrats were thinking, we can't actually win an argument with the American people. So how can we get a bunch of pieces of paper that qualify us to win the election? And then when it came to the Supreme Court and Congress, they all went, we're too cowardly to actually challenge this. There you go.
Well, in the beginning, Congress, that was the thing. Mo Brooks was the one that came up with the plan to contest the vote. And that's why we took the March for Trump bus across the country, because we wanted to put pressure on these congressmen and senators to get them to contest the Electoral College on January 6th. And Mo Brooks, and then, you know, a number of members of Congress, and then Josh Hawley was the first senator that got on board. And y'all, like, in a week, we had flipped so many because the pressure, they saw the people in the streets, whatever. That's why the riot at the Capitol happened, because they had to stop that. But this is the thing. There are other things that are going on, like in Georgia, for one. One of the things they've done, I'm sure it's in other states, they take an inactive voter that, say, has been inactive for 12 years, has not voted. They make them active. They vote for them, then make them inactive, and you never even see it, right? They're putting, as you're cleaning the voter rolls, behind the scenes with Eric, they're putting new people on the voter rolls. And you don't even see it. People, and the courts will not do anything about it.
Thanks for watching this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to check out the live show Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. on this channel. Subscribe, and we'll see you all there.